Hey everybody, uh, welcome back. So I'm back home after my trip. It's Thanksgiving week currently. I took some time off because I got my son. He's in, and anyway, I'm kind of just chilling at home. One thing I kind of felt like doing was doing a quick video on 1911s to tell you why. While I was on my trip, I got to handle a gun I've always wanted, Springfield custom shop professional. Um, very, very nice 1911. And it got me back into wanting to carry 1911s again. So when I came home, I was cleaning them earlier and just figured I'd talk about some of them and my history with 1911s. Um, Going back, when I first started carrying, my first carry gun was a Kimber TLE. Despite Kimbers having a bad rap, that gun in particular, I got lucky. Uh, More or less, I had it for about 6, 7 years, and I don't know. I quit counting when I put the it was on its third recoil spring, which means it at least had 6,000 rounds through it because I was pretty meticulous about the maintenance schedule. Anyway, never had a problem with that gun that wasn't ammo related or magazine related. So I've had several 1911s over the years. I go back and forth carrying those and carrying other guns. So I've only got 4 currently, but I figured I'd go over them real quick just to talk about some of the differences. So the one I've had the longest is this beat up Springfield Range Officer. Make sure you guys are seeing this. Yeah, so it is not how it came from the factory. They come with wood grips and a LPA cut Bomar style sight from the factory. It's a competition geared gun. This one was an early one. It was one of the first production runs. I bought it 13 years ago or so. 14, I don't remember. Whenever they first came out, I got it based on the reviews that I'd been seeing on them because I wanted to get back into 1911s. So I was shooting 90 PA back then, and I shot this thing in competition. Let me first off clear. I'll go ahead and all the guns are clear. What I'm talking about. Springfield. So when I picked this gun up, the slide to frame fit was pretty tight, and it still is. It's got a little play, but considering how much I shot this gun, not too much. The barrel from the factory, the barrel bushing fit was pretty tight. The hood lockup was good. And I shot it in CDP for a while, carried it for a while. And anyway, moved on from there. I also at the time had bought a Magnum Research 1911, one of the very first ones. It didn't have, it was one of the few that didn't have forward cocking serrations. Shot it for a while. It was it kind of reminded me of a cheaper Kimber current production. In fact, it pretty much had a lot of Kimber parts in it. Anyway, this is a very good gun. Like a lot of Springfields, they go with a 23-pound hammer spring and 18.5-pound recoil spring. This one's actually got a heavier recoil spring in it because we were I was carrying it with 185 plus P ammo, and anyway, this actually has thin grips on it right now, as you can see from VZ. Not really a fan of thin grips personally. I tried them out, didn't like it. I also put some grip tape on the front strap. I love doing this on. You'll see I have it on another gun, but this actually, my wife took this gun and was carrying it for a while, quite some years, until she got her HK. As you can see, you put a Harris design rear sight on it. It's been a pretty good gun. Doesn't really get used anymore. It's kind of a, it's just what it is. Trigger on these is pretty good. Fit and finish on it, as far as it being a Parkerized gun and whatnot. It's still a pretty tight gun, considering how much I've shot that one between competition and just practice. Next up, be my Colt. So this is a Colt concealed carry government model. Was again one of the first ones. This was number 961 of the first 1,000 that were Tallow distributor exclusives. I think they only made another 400 that Colt sold directly. Very nice as far as out of the box, 1911. Shot this one probably, I don't know, I probably put about 1,500 rounds through this gun. I did carry it for a while, but it's a very pretty blued finish, but it doesn't wear well at all, especially in Arkansas with our humidity. You might be able to see that there's rust in certain spots. Now that's a 10-8 rear sight, and it's rusting around it, but there's some serious holes, not serious holes to wear, but just there's wear on it, and it's a very good gun. In my mind, it doesn't have any MIM parts in it, which is nice. The I call it a bad side, is it's a Series 80 gun, meaning it has a firing pin block that's activated by the trigger, and compared to all the other 1911s I've ever shot, this one has the worst trigger. I have done a bunch of stuff to this because I did carry it. It came with wood grips as well that were thin. Got these VZ, I think they're Alien grips on it. Made it look a little better, and it feels way better in the hand. Also put an Ed Brown thumb safety and slide stop on it, and a 10-8 trigger. And I did some work too. I didn't do work. I actually, it's a stock hammer and sear, but I put a 10-8. Show you. Real quick. These are not that hard to disassemble, despite what people think. So I put a 10-8 firing pin safety in it. It's gold titanium finish. I put their lever for the firing pin safety in it, and I put cylinder slide gold titanium pins for the sear and the hammer and whatnot. Did help. Still not the greatest as far as I'm concerned, but it helped with overall trigger feel. Now, when I say it's got the worst trigger of all the 1911s, that's subjective, because the worst 1911 trigger is still better than pretty much any Glock or take your pick of the gun. See, not that hard to disassemble and reassemble. I do love the Ed Brown safety and slide stop. It just feels really well when, if you're gripping the 1911 how you're supposed to, riding the thumb safety, it just gives you a lot of purchase, and it's a nice touch. But like I said, trigger on this one, it's definitely usable, but compared to the other 1911s, it's bleh. I did put grip tape on this one as well because it wasn't serrated or anything, and you know, it's a very comfortable carry gun. One thing I really like about them is the undercut here under the trigger guard. It just really makes it feel like you're getting up higher on the gun. The 10-8 rear sight works well. It had a Novak blacked out sight from the factory. It's okay, but yeah, at the time I was trying out getting into a lot of defensive style shooting and practice, and being able to do one-handed manipulations with the rear sight was a nice touch. As far as the U-notch, I could take it or leave it. Either way, I didn't really. Now, as far as the fitment on this one's a little bit looser. You can hear it, but you know, it really doesn't, for practical shooting, it really doesn't affect anything. This gun, you know, I've got probably, I want to say 1,500 rounds through it, and I wouldn't hesitate to carry this again. I'm not the sight, it's got a green fiber optic. I have had to fix it before. It's kind of, I've had to mess with it before. This is the reason why I'm not a big fan of fiber optic sights for carry. It's still functional. If it falls out, you've still got the frame of the sight itself to use, but it is what it is. For a cheap, very visible sight, it works. I guess I'll move on to my TRP. This is actually the second TRP operator I've ever had. I had one back in the early mid-2000s. Didn't have it for very long. Actually, the reason I didn't have it very long is because of the full-length guide rod that you have to disassemble. You know, got to take a paper clip and pry it in there, and then you can take it out. But most people complain about the 20 line per inch check ring on the front. For a carrier duty gun, yeah, it's sharp, but it works. It's the sight, the Bomar sight, it's sharp too. This gun's drawn blunt on me a number of times playing with, shooting it in practice, because I did carry this gun for quite a while, and I actually have started carrying it again since I've been back from my trip. This gun, when I bought it, I picked it out of, they had three at the store that I could pick from, and this one was the tightest when I picked it out. And there was zero movement in the frame to slide fit, and literally had to force it open when I first got it. When I first got it, I had to tear it apart, lube it up real good, and I put like 500 rounds through it to try and break it in, and it started getting easier. Even now, it's got some holster wear. You might not be able to see it with the screen, but right around here and around the front of the slide, but it's held up pretty well. I'm getting close to having to replace the recoil spring in this, and when I do, I will get the I'll probably go with the 10/8 reverse plug and get a regular recoil spring guide. So get rid of the full length guide rod because they're not necessary. And this thing has a bull barrel, so this gun is the flattest shooting 1911 and 45 that I've owned. It really doesn't move a whole lot when you shoot it. Now, if you grip it tight, you will have indentations in your fingers. Like if I grip it, you can kind of already see indentations in my fingers from the stippling. But for a carry duty self-defense gun that you're, in realistic expectation, you're not going to shoot 500 rounds through at the same time. It works, especially if you need to use gloves. Very good gun. This has been my carry gun for a number of years in the past, and when I carry a 1911, like in the winter, or if I travel a lot for the military, and if I have to fly, and I'm going to a place that I can carry, this is the gun I take, because it's easier to load 8 rounds in a 1911 mag versus 15 or 18 in a Beretta mag or a Sig mag or whatever. Anyway, very nice gun out the box. I haven't done anything to this gun except put gas and oil in it and go. Like I said, this gun's coming up on a due for a recoil spring, so that tells you how many rounds I've had through it, and I've only had one stovepipe with it, and it was a weak round. I could tell by the recoil impulse it was a weak round, so I don't hesitate to trust this gun either. Moving on, the other one I've got now is actually a Paraordnance framed gun. This is a gun from the 90s, I assume, because back in the race gun days, I wish it still had the red dot mount that it clearly had, based on the holes in the frame on both sides. But it has the old Packmeyer Combat Special vibe with the chrome frame and the hard chrome frame and the blued slide and the compensator. This is actually a 38 Super gun. Here's a magazine for it. See the compensator on here, and another full length guide rod, but that's kind of necessary with that. From our site, this gun, I would never carry this. For one, if you look at it compared to my TRP, it's way longer. Not that length's a terrible problem, but this I think is just pushing it on length. Plus, the grip width, if you look there at how thick they are, it's a good almost 1/4 inch wider than the single stacks. And I've actually measured it against a Beretta before, and it's actually wider than that. Feels good in my hand. I've got long fingers, but just a little big for carry. But this thing is a pussycat to shoot. The recoil is like I dare say if you found a full size 380, it'd feel like that. It's really fun to shoot because there is no recoil. It has I want to say these are 17 or 18 round mags. I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've shot it, but it's it's shot a lot, and someone competed with it. But it's got a Colt slide on it, so this is a built gun. It wasn't a factory gun at all. And anyway, this gun, I keep it around because it's cool, it's nostalgic and retro, but also you know, like a lot of people I know, you know, ask me for advice on shooting and stuff. And this is a gun I like to show them how to shoot on because it's big and it, even though the grip is chunky as hell, because the recoil is so light and the trigger's good on it. It was a Series 80, but you can see someone deleted it, and the part in the frame where you the trigger pushes it up has been removed. So the trigger is really nice on this gun, and it's really easy for new shooters to hit what they're aiming at, which builds confidence for them quickly, which I found is a nice thing about it. You know, between the lack of recoil and the being able to hit what they're aiming at easily, it helps with new shooters. Anyway, these are the 4 I've got. I've had several over the years. I've had like I said, I had another TRP, I had a Kimber TLE, I even had a Charles Daly 1911 when I was very poor, right before I got divorced my first time. And it was about, like, if you took this compensator off and it was a single stack, it looked like this. It was like a 4-inch model. Actually, it was a cheap, sloppy gun, but it actually shot. I don't remember it ever jamming on me because it was so loose. Also had a Dan Wesson V-Bod too, which was a nice gun, and that's what made me want to get these Ed Brown, the safety and the slide stop on this gun, because you know, I just loved them. And also we had, you know, in comparison to the TRP, also had a Marine Corps operator, actually didn't have it very long. It was one of the newer ones that has the G10 grips instead of the Packmeyers, and has that newer texture on the mainspring and front strap. It was an alright gun, pretty comfortable to handle and whatnot, but didn't need it. Actually traded it in to fund MCX. But anyway, I just thought I'd go over that real quick. Yes, when I do carry these, I carry appendix now. It's not that bad, despite probably what people would think, if you use the right holster and belt. But yeah, anyway, I was kind of bored and I wanted to go over my 1911s. So I'll probably be going over some more guns here in the future. So yeah, quick video on that. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.